All right. Welcome back to McConaughey's favorite ultimate guide to New World. This is episode 8. Thanks for hanging out with us this far. This episode is going to be really action-packed with a lot of quests, and we're going to explore some new areas, so let's check it out.
I've decided to start amassing resources, supplies, anything we could possibly need. When the corruption comes, we'll be good and ready for it. Oh, that's good to hear, my friend. I've learned of a great misfortune that's befallen our neighbors in Monarch's Bluffs. One of their scouting patrols came under attack out by Bulrush Wash. The situation is dire. Yes, I want you to come to their rescue. Save the poor bastards on behalf of Windsward. Whatever we can do to earn allies is worth doing. Tell them we'll always be there when they need us. Well now, I hear you've thrown in with one of the factions. I think that makes sense. But I hope you're still willing to fight with your old friend Miklos as well.
Alright, well, Miklos thinks it's pretty cool that we're rolling in a squad. We're in the Syndicate now. Syndicate squad. So, he wants us to go check that out. As you can see on the map, there's 3 more yellow square hidden things in the map. Those are quests. We're going to go pick those up before we leave the town. Because you want to make sure you pick up all the quests that you can.
Now, I hear you've thrown in with one of the factions.
Because
I think that makes sense. But I hope
then you have to make less trips. And some of the quests, they overlap. So if you follow the quest lines, like you go into town, you pick up all the quests, you go out, you do all the quests, you come back to town, you turn in all the quests. It works out really well that way. The rumors about a hermit level 12 quest. You gotta go to the spirit shrine. We can use Azoth to fast travel. So we're gonna do that now. And we're gonna save so much time. Traveling is really slow. So you can fast travel anywhere you've already been in the game, as long as you have Azoth to pay for it. And the farther you have to travel, the more Azoth it costs to do it, so keep that in mind too. If you want to go all the way across the map, it's going to cost you a lot of Azoth. It's going to be worth it because it's going to save you a lot of time. This is a cool 3-star secret fishing hotspot. You can see there's hotspot there. We're going to pull our rod out. We don't have any freshwater bait, but because it's a hot spot, we're going to hit it anyways. It's 6.8 meters deep. Start pulling some fish in, see if we get anything interesting. It's 3-star. I haven't fished at a hot spot in a 3-star, so I just wanted to see what kind of things we get out of here without any bait. 9-pound catfish, not bad. Gonna get a couple fillets off of that, but ultimately not enough to motivate me to keep fishing there right now. This building's got some cool artifacts in it, but nothing's really, you can't really interact with anything. And here is the wandering old man.
Away with you, ghost. You'll scare away the fish. I remember you not, and care not to, even if I could. A name? Ah, yes. What people use to try to give permanence to the impermanent. Even here. I've been called Jonas, the Mad Wanderer, the Half-Lost. One of those is probably my name. When time slips beneath death's grip once too often, such notions fade. Or they become tainted, whether by pain or corruption. Did you hear that, fishies? Corruption. But no one wants to talk about that. Not even me, not anymore. Did I know? I used to be quite wise, so I thought. Unlike those fools who fought the corrupted. What fools these mortals be, wrote Seneca. Immortals in this case, but those fools are gone, forgotten. Perhaps the stones remember. Try there. Just go. The fish and I are discussing literature.
Man, I kind of feel this old hermit guy. He's a little senile, but sometimes you just gotta talk to your fish. You know what I'm saying? I feel that. So, he wants us to go do some stuff. Let's go check it out. This dock's really cool. It's kind of like the early form of a bridge, I guess. There's no mounts. There's obviously going to be introduced at some point in this game. There's already rumors of that. But there's going to, at some point at least, if not NPCs alone, there's got to be like donkey carts or something. Horse-drawn carriages. There's got to be something going on in the future. So, it's a new world. And I don't mean to sound cliche, but it's going to have to grow over time. When expansions come out and stuff, they're going to introduce new things. And who knows how far they'll go. Maybe we'll be making rocket ships in New World one day. Who knows? I wouldn't bet on it, but it's not possible. Now this is a nicer bridge. This reminds me of this old wooden bridge we used to cross to go to a state park when I was a kid. You wouldn't drive across it now, but you can walk across it. So I just saw a big boulder, figured I'd hit it up, get some rocks. We have enough harvesting level to collect these dragon glories now, and they're a pretty good one. Another good one is the what is it called? Life root or something. It's always good to pick up some hemp. It's got that deep, dark purple looking color. It's nice. It's cool that they included hemp in the game. It's cool that it's being normalized now. It's a lot of hemp for one spot, so I figured I'd collect it. But we're going to have to shed some weight because we're encumbered. That was a big one, 36 fibers from one plant. And that small one's only 10. And so the suspicion is that the larger nodes do give you more stuff and they do take longer to process. So beekeeper's cowl. So like this face mask thing, I end up putting it on, but I end up changing it relatively fast because it's just so ugly, weird looking. It's kind of disturbing. But I put this thing on, and it's basically like you have like a pillowcase over your head, or like a hoodie, but like instead of having the face hole open, they put like one of those like straw or wicker like hot pot placemats, the kind of thing that would be like on your Thanksgiving table, so that like the casserole doesn't burn the table. That kind of wood. And it fills the hole with that, and so like you can't see your face. It's really weird. I haven't put it on yet, but you'll see it and you'll know what I'm talking about. So I guess I'm just going all in on being encumbered, and this highlights why you need to get bags. Bags are going to be important in New World. You want to get the best bag you can as soon as you can get it, because being encumbered is the worst. I'm almost 50 harvesting. So you can't recall when you're encumbered. You can't use any of your moves in combat when you're encumbered. So basically being encumbered is the worst, and you should avoid it. So what I'm doing now is I'm deciding what I'm going to drop or salvage to lose enough weight to make it so I'm not encumbered, so at least I can like recall back to the inn and turn in some quests or deposit some of this stuff, or do whatever I need to do with it. So we need to lose 3.8 more pounds. And sometimes it's easy to decide what you're going to drop, and other times it's not. Like 2.4 pounds in wood, 0.8 pounds in lumber, get rid of the charcoal. We need to lose a half a pound. And what I should have done at the time is salvage that ugly beekeeper helmet, but I didn't know any better. So I salvaged a catfish, but it actually gained 0.1 pounds. So that's interesting. Saltpeter, I got rid of it. I don't really know how to use it yet. I'm pretty sure it's for gunpowder. Just based on real life. But it's cool. Okay, so these weird gargoyle looking things have these yellow squares over them for the to the rescue quest. So we're gonna use our rapier and kill these guys, taking a break from the musket. Ooh. Yeah, they got that nasty special move right there, but nothing we couldn't handle. So we need to destroy these span shatters. Alright, we picked Flurry, which just like stabs a bunch of times. Okay, so we gotta kill these span shatter abominations at Bull Rush Wash. So we're at Bull Rush Wash. If you ever want to know where you are, you can look at your compass at the top, and it says it in yellow right there. Oh, gonna drink a potion, eat some food. And somebody's been helping, so thank you, random stranger with a rifle. And right back into it. We need one more. Boom, done. Alright. So we could go back, or we could try to do another quest. But because we're full, I'm going to recall. We do this once an hour, so strategically it's really useful if you time it right. Alright, we're back in Windsward.
You know, it's funny. When I first heard the corruption was spreading, I thought we'd be safe here in Windsward. But I tell it to you plain, I'm beginning to have doubts. Well, I'm just thinking back. You don't know all the history. For some reason, Windsward always gets the shaft. And besides, I have no confidence in Dottie. None whatsoever. He spends half his time in here drinking. The other half, dreaming or boasting. Mostly, he seems interested in helping the other settlements. Showing off. She's alright. Lonely, tired. We all are. What we need right now is a hearty meal. Huh? A delicious stew. Oh, in fact, maybe you could go and rustle up some game. Some briar branches also, for a hot fire.
This guy is like got the munchies or something from being drunk in the bar all day, because every time I talk to him he's like, oh, it'd be really good. Oh, we gotta make some some gourmet food, man. Yeah. Go get the hardest to get ingredients on the planet, and then come back and give them to me, and we'll eat it all. So that's basically the tavern quest line in a nutshell. But I'm cool with that. I mean, there's probably not a lot of things to do back then anyways. This guy's like stuck in the tavern. He's like, yo.
You've become a real regular around here, haven't you? Hope this place is starting to feel comfortable. I've a question, however. Do you ever venture outside the settlement? Fantastic! I've run up a little debt with Innkeep Kamau up in Everfall. She loaned me some Azoth. If you go tell her the Azoth is coming soon, she'll pay the cost for you to fast travel back. Well, yes, it just costs a little Azoth, like everything else, right? But yes, if you'll give her my message and return, I'll give you a little Azoth myself. I do appreciate you delivering my message to Innkeep Kamau. I'm sure she'll give you enough Azoth to fast travel back.
I do find it interesting that the innkeeper here is like, oh yeah, just go tell them I'm going to pay them, and then they'll give you even more to come back. Doesn't sound very cool.
Not much happening at the forge. We have a shortage of metals in Windsward, and the spread of corruption has slowed trade. But I wonder, are conventional weapons really the best means of fighting the corruption? My thoughts exactly. I have a theory. I just need help testing it out. I've been thinking, what if there's a relationship between the corrupted and the lost? Well, I have an experiment in mind, but to test it, I need soil samples from locations overrun by each. Merrill's place for the corrupted, and Cooper's place for the lost, the withered. Get me the soil samples.
So we gotta get this guy some samples and to come back. And his mind is totally blown. It's actually kind of funny. So we're gonna check out the town project board. We're working on everything we can. Let's go talk to this guy, see what he has to say.
So, the patrol from Marnock's Bluffs had already been wiped out by the time you arrived? The poor sots have probably joined the ranks of the lost now. The truth is that Marnock's Bluffs has been particularly dismissive of my efforts to work together. I wonder if one of our other neighbors would be more receptive. That would be wise. You can act as our envoy. I think First Light might be open to such a discussion. In fact, there is a gift we might bring as a token of our intentions. Well, I've heard that First Light is in need of stone blocks. Gather them, buy them, steal them for all I care. But if you bring the stone blocks to Oaks, it's a good start at least. I am not sure why she needs the blocks, but it must be for something important. The settlement of First Light is quite some distance to the south, so be prepared.
Alright, so Miklos is definitely a strategist. He's playing the long game. He's playing the smart game. He knows one neighbor might not agree with what you're doing or want to help you or participate at all. Heck, they might even want to kill you. Who knows? Another neighbor might be your best friend. So he wants us to go check out the other direction. See what's going on that way. Now we're pretty close to encumbered. We're gonna cut 117 stone blocks here. And some diamonds that we found. Cool. And we just lost like 25-30 pounds just like that from cutting the stone. So get the rest of my jewel crafting stuff out. And I want to see if we can cut some other stones. Those diamonds were the first ones that I cut other than stone, so it looks like there's nothing else move on here. No timber. I tend to avoid the linen because it uses so much leather. But eventually, like when the game actually launches, I'm gonna have to get better at balancing what items I'm using. Because completely avoiding something because it's got leather and iron is not the solution. Because you're just not gonna level up. So I do that. I make I make stuff that I think that it might be good enough that I want to wear it, hopefully. Using my rare void metals on them. But that's okay, because this is all just to test anyways. Better to use them than just have them sitting around anyways. So we'll cook up the rest of what we got. Usually at this point, because I have so many rations, I only cook when I've got a town project or a mission for it. Because I don't want to be wasting, I don't want to do, 50 rations for no reason. And then get a bunch of town board quests that says, oh, your project is to cook rations. Well, I could have just easily finished that by not wasting it all earlier. So I get better at putting my ingredients and materials into the storage shed and then making rounds when I have enough quests that require me to craft stuff and I have enough items to make those for the quests. So here we are at the workshop. Gonna make 9 fishing poles, because why not, There's gonna be no fish left around here. All these fishing poles. So, you're probably wondering, what is he gonna do with 9 fishing poles? Well, I'll keep the best one, which looks like that. The best one's a 220 plus some saltwater bonus. So I'll equip that one, and then I'll salvage everything else, and I get a lot of my materials back. So I can make more and level up further, or I can save it to make something else. So another thing to note, I just hit combat level 18 from using the workshop. And that means that just like harvesting gives you combat experience, crafting gives you combat experience. And so really it's not, there's crafting skill levels, but really your level, like crafting is part of your level. So skilling is part of your combat level. And it seems like a lot of the project quests and these like syndicate missions for your faction, a lot of them are heavily reliant on the crafting. So if you play your cards right, and you pick up the quest for it, and it's like, make 50 rations. And you go and make the 50 rations, and you get all the XP for making the 50 rations. And then you finish the quest, and it gives you all this money, and even more XP, and even more faction. And technically, it's like instantly buying all the extra rations that you're just gonna sit on for a while anyways. Because I eat a lot pretty religiously in this game, and you can see from my inventory, I've got 61 rations equipped. I've got 12 more in my inventory, and then I've got a whole bunch of energizing ones, or travel rations, I'm sorry. And I don't even get around to using the travel rations until the very last episode or something. So the trading post is really cool. At first, when I started to use it the day at launch, it didn't seem that great because there wasn't a lot of stuff listed on it yet. Everybody had just started the game. Most people hadn't even gotten to the trading post yet. After a couple days, when people started uploading stuff and the pricing started leveling out, it seemed like a really big advantage. And if you know how to use it, it's going to be a really great asset to you just being successful overall in this game, because instead of salvaging everything, now you can sell it. And if you can find a buyer for these things and they pay you, and you get all this gold like instantly in your bags. That's how you're going to afford properties, better properties, and properties in different towns. And I'm assuming that there's even more stuff that's more expensive than that. Additionally, on the workshop side, I've noticed that you can make items for your home, and the items for your home are kind of material rich to make. So I'm assuming that like having a nice house is going to be like how you flex in this game. In addition to like maybe you could be the governor, or it's like your faction that owns the territory, and so like technically you own the territory. I'm not really sure. I'm excited to like explore and figure out all those options there, and I'm sure it'll be competitive, and that's going to be really cool too, because it's a new game. So like nobody's like guaranteed like the overall winner or anything at this point. So everything's up for grabs still, and when the game launches again, we're going to be ready, because you've watched these guys. I've done all the gameplay. I've played all the other games. I've beta tested this one, multiple layers, and we're highly prepared at this point. So now when launch does happen, unless you've already gotten farther than I've gotten, which is probably unlikely, it's possible. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I like to watch other people's videos, even if I've gotten farther than them, just to get their perspective on stuff. But even if you have made it farther than me, when the launch happens, I'm going to make it really far right off rip, because like I had explained in earlier episodes, I made other characters, but this time I know what I want to make. So I'm just going to stick with it and just come flying out the gates as soon as they open. And that competition to the end game, discovering things that people haven't done yet, and then I'm going to get that content packed up and edited in a way that makes sense to you as a viewer, and we're going to get it out, and we're going to conquer this game. I'm hoping that we can all coordinate and maybe join up on the same servers if we're in the right area. I'm on the East Coast. The server we're playing on right now in the game is Atlantis. So I'm going to play on that server next time, if it's the same for launch, if it's an East Coast server. So I'm going to play in Atlantis again. So if you're on Atlantis and you watch this, add me. My name's going to be Vengado, which is the same one. Vengado, which means the Avenger in Spanish. I just think it's a cool name. I've been using it for a long time. So we're almost done here with the crafting portion of the episode today. I'm just checking out what kind of, if I want metal armor or cloth or leather. It doesn't seem like there's a huge difference at this point, but I can see later on when you're a higher level that there's going to be a wider gap between each of the types. But overall it seems like, linen shoes still have over 200 gear score. So like the metal ones have a little over 200 also. So there's no real clear advantage as far as just like gear score goes. It's more about whether you want these stats or those stats. So I'm selling these shoes. I looked them up, just like I do in WoW. Underpriced the other guy. Put them up for sale. Maybe somebody will buy them. Maybe somebody doesn't. Whatever. It's worth a shot. If they don't buy them, which I believe it's like 14 or 15 days it'll stay up there. If nobody buys them, I'm not sure what happens next, because the expiration window, 14 days, is longer than the beta was. But I'm assuming you probably have to pick up the item from that post again, and you probably relist it for cheaper or just salvage it. But it's probably good practice to put all your extra stuff in the storage shed and then craft everything you can, and then all the extra stuff that you're not going to use, try to sell it. And if nobody buys it, then you salvage it. That would be the way to maximize and increase your efficiency by like collecting gold and XP and leveling up, just all in general over your experience. You can see in the storage shed we got 192 stones. I'm starting to put everything away because I've smartened up finally and realized I don't need any of this junk when I'm out here doing any of this stuff. I don't need all these jewels on me. It's not like my shed's gonna get robbed. I don't think that's a thing in the game. And so I've put away almost everything. I've got some other stuff. Probably should have put that away too, but that's fine. The overall effect is I want to start traveling to these other towns, turning some of the quests there, checking out those villages, scouting it out, see what kind of town I think visually is the coolest, is located in the best area, maybe has the best quests. A lot of the quests are going to overlap. And what I mean by that is like when you go to the town board in a different town, there's going to be a lot of the same quests that you see on the town board in this town. It's just a different town. But that's on a different scale. You have a different faction with there's different people contributing different amounts of faction to the town board by doing the quests. So there will be like more advanced towns that are farther away at a higher level, that everything's more expensive as far as like property value goes, but maybe the fees are really good, they're really low, and so like that's like a high level town, and that town is going to be one of the last ones to like get leveled up. But it might be that it gets leveled up the furthest in the long run. It might end up being that like the level 60 village is like Ogremar and everybody always hangs out there all the time. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of like norms happen. Like when I played RuneScape way back in the day, before there was the Grand Exchange, everybody used to go to World 1. If you're a non-member, you'd go to the Silver World 1 Farrock, and you'd go to like the West Farrock Bank, and everyone would be out there with their macro auto typers, like saying all the for sale, selling lobsters, 250 gold per piece, blah blah blah, trade me. And if you remember, it'd be World 2, Falador Gardens, just north of the East Bank. And same deal. It'll be interesting to see what becomes that in this game, and I think it's going to be different from server to server because people are going to like take over and level up towns. Like every server is going to be different. Same but different. So you can see I'm collecting sample, and it's like basically invisible, and it says Cooper's Soil. And the only reason I knew it was there, other than the quest icons telling me to come here, was that UFO looking blue light tractor beam looking thing that popped up, kind of like a UFO abduction. And it was basically like, here's a sample and here's another one. So I'm running around and I'm looking at the screen and I'm waiting to see when it pops up and it says press E to collect soil sample, and then I stop and I backtrack to wherever it was that I saw that, and that's how I'm like right here, collect sample. Physically I'm not seeing the sample. I don't know what I'm looking for. Maybe it's not loading for me, maybe they didn't program it good enough, maybe that's why they highlighted it because it's so difficult to see. But if you pay attention to the little nuance of running over the soil sample and it popping up for just a millisecond, you could find that way. Garden pig. So we need one more sample of soil from Cooper's. There we go. See that blue beam? Bam. Now we gotta go get samples of soil from Meryl's place. I like the outfit and like the rapier and the stabbiness. It makes me. It reminds me of like the Three Musketeers or Zorro, like throwback to the 90s. There's that blue tractor beam looking thing. I'm gonna go check out what that is. Collect sample. So that was a sample of Cooper's soil. We don't need any more, so it didn't count. But it's time to move on to the next quest. It's always good to open up your map like I did, or look at your quest journal and pin whatever quest thing is nearby, so that you're not like running around making all these faraway trips all the time. You're just like, it's almost like carpooling. You get a couple quests from like one travel out in that direction versus having to go there and back several times. The earth spines are pretty good. It's good for XP, but this life bloom was the best one that I was collecting so far, mainly because it's like a really good primary. It's used for a lot of the quest board requirement things for like alchemy, so it'll be like, you know, make common health potions, and you need that life bloom, so. So I need 5 more night crawlers, so I'll have to pick up some flint. I'm not sure why I'm so obsessed with the briar thorn here, but they do give like fishing bait, the firefly bait, and that's pretty good freshwater bait. And I think that's why I was harvesting in here, because they're going back towards that fishing village. Yeah, got like 5 of them. So just familiarizing myself with what's left in the journal here. And we're up again across the pond. River. I would love to live in an area like where we're at right now. It's so beautiful and natural. I really like the idea of a river. But every time I look at properties on rivers, usually like the river's like gross. It's like polluted. It's so hard to find a nice big river that's like clean and affordable to live on, and not in like the middle of nowhere. Which I'm not afraid to be in the middle of nowhere. I kind of like being in the middle of nowhere. As long as you're like well equipped for that. Check out this soul worm. So I picked it up, harvested it, and we got some soul. So If you're ever feeling like you have no soul, just go out and gather some. No big deal. Gotta call some more turkeys. What else I gotta do? The boar. Cranberries. Cranberries, strawberries, blueberries, those are all good secondaries. We gotta collect turkeys. Must be getting ready for Thanksgiving. Gotta collect them all. That's for the pub guy, I think. He's like, yo, what are you? Go get me 10 turkeys, no big deal. Like, bro, that's a lot of turkeys. Just get your bartender, you know? Like, you pour me beer, I gotta run across the planet and collect 10 turkeys for you. That doesn't seem fair. At least it gives you rewards when you're done. I guess that makes it fair. So we're taking the soils. We're over at Merrill's place right now. I saw the first soil sample because that blue tractor beam thing popped up. There's one. So you've just got to pay attention to when it pops up on your screen. We've got 2 so far. We need 5, so we got 3 more and we'll be done. So you just need to run around. Boom, there's one. As soon as it pops up, if you walk past it, just backtrack. Obviously you can't pick up all 5 in the same spot. There's another plucked turkey. Man, we're gonna have a feast when we get back. So the sample. So as you can see, you can't visibly see any sort of, oh, there's a sample there. It's just like not loading the picture, or it's not supposed to be a picture. I don't know. That was a pretty good catch. Got some greens. So we need 1 more dirt sample. I see one. That blue. We'll call this turkey and we'll take his plucked body. We'll get this sample here. There's some more turkeys. This farm is like turkey heaven, man. No wonder why Thanksgiving's about turkeys. Because if there was this many turkeys back then, that totally makes sense. They're like, let's celebrate eating with strangers. So let's pluck these turkeys and everyone will come into the tavern and we'll all get drunk, eat a bunch of turkey, and Susan will make the stuffing, and Billy will make some barbecue, and it's going to be awesome. Somebody bring casserole, and I got this new cranberry sauce that I want to try out. I think everybody's going to love it. It's gravy. Boom. Thanksgiving. Instant classic. Everybody loves it. And even now, in the future from back then, but like, it's 2021, and you can like, when it's around Thanksgiving, you can like go to Arby's and get like a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich with like cranberry sauce and gravy on it or whatever. It's crazy. Crazy. Publix does it too. They got that like special Dorset turkey with the cranberry sauce. And I'm not a big cranberry sauce advocate at all, but it is a nice seasonal thing. I mean, some people are crazy about it. Some people are crazy about that pumpkin spice. I mean, I'll like have like a pumpkin spice latte or a chai tea or something like once or twice a year tops. But some people, they're like religious about it. Like, it's like August and they're like, oh, it's almost autumn time to get the pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks. So there's like the next 3 months this person just smells like cinnamon and pumpkins, which isn't bad, but you know, I like to keep things that are seasonal. And anyways, that's how Thanksgiving was made, and that's how it turned into pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks in 2021. The natural evolution, and if you don't understand the connection between them, you're not trying hard enough, because it's a clear connection. Anyways, I'm just babbling about random stuff. So, in other news, Chick-fil-A is cool. They put a lot of salt in the fries, but I like that. And, yeah, chicken. So we're killing these smelly pirates. They're like pirate zombies or something. I'm not like sure that they smell. They have like this green gas around them. So it just... And then when they attack you, they make you look like you got farts on you. It just seems like there's got to be some smelliness there. I like the rapier, especially in Fast 4. It looks like really cool. I feel like I'm getting more done. It's like step. Plus, you know, if you've played a lot of other games like I have, you know that the stabbing stuff, a lot of the times the stabbing weapons are sometimes the best weapons as far as like damage goes. And it might not look that way in numbers or on paper, but it ends up being that way. And the reason for that is because the armors that are hard to do damage against in melee, like the heavy plate and stuff, they usually are weak against piercing. Usually strong against crushing and slashing and, you know, cutting or whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to piercing, the plate armor is usually not the best. So using a piercing weapon means that pretty much everybody's armor is nearly irrelevant to you, whether they're wearing the tissue paper cloth armor all the way up to the plate armor. So this guy, Emilio, or whatever, we just kicked his butt. We're taking his stockpile. And he was a quest guy. So we got a good amount of greens there. Got some quest potions and stuff. Try a new item. Got a bow. It's a green one. So switch to bow. Because we were using musket, but we ran out of ammo. Wow, this guy just shot me. So he's using like a shield and pistol combo, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure whether or not we get to do that as players, but it seems like strategically it's a pretty sweet combo. I just block until I'm done reloading and then shoot you. I mean, if the roles were reversed there, I'd be running around with a buckler and a pistol all the time. I get like one of those judges, like one of those little shotgun pistols. That'd be dope in this game. Get a little buckler shield and a little shotgun pistol or sawed off and just call it a day. Put like some forks or some random like bits of rocks or something in there and just blast them. This chick's weird. I can't tell whether or not what weapon she was using there. It's weird. It's like arm blades or something. So we have got to search about clues. Sorry about that. We've got to search for clues. It's like Blue's Clues, but for New World. Get some more cash. No quest items. This is a cool little area down here. Got some cabins on the water. Got the little bridge next to them, and then there's that waterfall behind it. I think there's a crashed ship too. They might have made the bridge out of the crashed ship. Who knows? Let's see. Rivercrest. Yeah, it looks like there's like their ship fell off the waterfall or something. Dang, a fan the shot. Silly gator. I like how big they made them. It makes me feel like a boss when I kill it. Like this big alligator, you can't even like barely see me. He could swallow me whole. I felt that way when I like basically soloed Scratchy, and I remember watching Asmon do it on the beta that I didn't get invited to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, boys, it's time to kill Scratchy, boys! World's first raid boss, super grizzly bear," and they made it look so hard. They were like, "No, we gotta pull him out of the cave," and they pulled him out of the cave, and there's like 40 dudes like just unloading on this bear. But it's still kind of glitchy because you're supposed to fight the bear inside the bear cave, but they're trying to like use WoW tactics on New World, and they're like pulling this Scratchy guy, the big grizzly bear, out of the cave, and he's running around. He's just like one hitting these noobs, and they don't really know what to do, and he keeps like resetting. And anyways, long story short, I thought it was going to be really hard, so I was like, oh man, I'm just going to attack Scratchy here and see how long I can last. And there were like 2 other people there just hanging out behind me. So I'm like, alright. I go in there, start attacking Scratchy, and we're just unloading on him. And we just drop him in like 30 seconds. And I have like 90% health still. And I didn't even have to use a health potion or nothing, I don't think. And I remember thinking to myself, why was that so dang easy? And why did it look so hard and action-packed when they did it? You know? And I think that it was probably bugged out because the programmer wasn't anticipating anyone pulling out of the den. But the den is actually big enough that you can like do all your stuff in there, but I guess you can't use some of your outside spells. I don't know. I'm not sure there are outside spells now that I think about it, but it's something to look into. That's Star Metal Vein, so obviously not a high enough level for that, but it's a really cool looking metal. I'm looking forward to being able to mine that next time, and really looking forward to these blue trees that we end up finding. Wormwood, I think they're called, or something like that. And they remind me a lot of the magic trees in RuneScape. They got like this blue sort of like avatar sort of energy going through them. So I was about to quick travel, and then I realized, oh, there's a coffer and a cache over there. And there's these, corrupted looking dudes. Or lost, or whatever they're called. So, I'll make my way over there and see if I can collect something good. They're level 21, so they got 3 levels on me, but nothing I can't handle. you chopped him like Kobayashi. Level 5 Rapier Mastery. Went with some more upgrade for the bleed. Here we go. We're going to take the coffer. Oh, this guy wants some. So we got to give it to him. Uh-oh, we got another one. And this is what I was talking about with like respawning too fast. But luckily, I'm an ass kicker. And also luckily I have potions, so I'm dead though. Just need some better gear. So looking about my options of where I could respawn. Gonna go nearest, which is Windward, I think. And that's okay because we needed a fast travel back anyways and turn in some of these quests.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. These samples will do nicely. Now, let me see. Yeah, I expected to find certain similarities, but they're simply not there. Puzzling. The differences, you say? That is an interesting idea. You're very insightful, you know that? I'll have to look into this. The differences.
Now, like I mentioned before, this guy's mind was completely and totally blown by just thinking about there being differences between things. And I think that's one of the little Easter eggs that people don't really fully appreciate. Or maybe they won't for a while, or maybe never. But I think that's kind of funny to program that into the game with the guy's like,
Have you returned for more adventure?
oh, the differences. I was only looking for similarities, and it seems so obvious, but like the overall abstract concept of that guy's expression to it is just makes me happy. Checking out the gear here from the Syndicate. So you can trade some coin and then your like Syndicate points, your tokens. I've got 910 tokens. Really good stuff is like 1,000. And you get the tokens from doing the quests. And what I'm looking at getting here is the musket and the rapier, mainly because that's what I use the most. I would get some cool looking armor, but that was less important to me because a lot of the time I'm not even using my armor. They don't even like get to the point of hitting me. So yeah. Get the tanning and the crafting. Get all our XPs. I guess you could comment below what levels you think I end up getting to by the end of this. But don't cheat. Don't see this in the future and then go back and watch the last episode and then come back to this one and comment the answers, because that's cheap. You gotta genuinely guess. What levels do you think I end up being at the end of this episode thing? And what I mean by that is like, what combat level do you think I am? What harvesting level and mining and, you know, even mastery levels? Just give me a guess. Let me know what you think. I'll give you one hint. This is episode 8, and I believe we've got 12 episodes. So all of our town project, board quests, They're all done. It looks like Activate Hale and Hardy is already maxed out. We've got so many active questers in this town that it pretty much doesn't matter now. There's like a daily limit, I guess, of how fast you could progress the village. And we hit that limit like constantly. But it seems like every time I come back to town, something's been upgraded. So, like next episode, we come back and this whole, whatever you call it, trading post, there's a whole nother building added to it. And I'm not sure what that building does, but it adds another terminal spot that's closer, so you don't have to run as far to use the trading. It's only a couple feet, but you know, it all adds up over your gaming history. So I'm all for saving time. More fun, less work, less waiting, less running around. That's the ultimate objective here, is to maximize the fun. I'm really looking forward to the end game stuff. Very exciting. I'm usually, in the other MMOs, I'm usually not the first person to them. I'm usually like far behind the curve. I got other stuff in my real life, day-to-day activities that are more attention pressing, and you just end up not having as much time as these other people that are full-time gamers. But in order to get to full-time gaming, you gotta make that jump. You gotta start doing, you know, playing when you can, making the guides when you can, just like this. And I figured I've been watching other people do it for years, and I could easily do that. They're not even that good. Here's that ugly beard bee like helmet thing that I was telling you about earlier. Super ugly. There's no way you could accurately use like a bow and arrow or really even run through the town with that thing on. It makes you think of like the skin suit, but the skin suit actually has like really small holes. Like this thing is, you gotta understand, this is like colonial Dark Ages, so it's probably not like the best thing to try to look through, but it might be the best thing they had at the time. It makes sense, I guess. It keeps bees from stinging your face, but you can't see very well. So we've got a quest in Everfall Village. We've got a quest down at First Light. And we've got another quest even farther than Everfall. And that's what we're going to do next episode.